This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions, coming to you with an article I got from Zero Hedge. Like nothing we have ever seen before, imminent eviction wave is coming to the States. Of course, titles always catch my attention and makes me want to dive into it further. Real estate is one of the most biggest areas in our existence because everyone needs a place to live, and especially through the pandemic and everything else that's going on, keeping abreast with the real estate market is extremely important. So I'm just going to dive right into this article here, and just to also get an understanding in the state to where we're really at and how this is not going to be easily solved. And if you have tenants, I'm hoping you're working with them. I'm trying to work with any tenants I have and going forward. But with this many people facing eviction, this is going to have an impact in real estate. It's just a matter of time. It's usually a lag time. So dive right into the articles. Always, I'm going to put a link inside the description. The eviction moratorium expired last Friday, near 4 months after the U.S. economy effectively shut down due to the COVID pandemic, and more than 12 million renters, all behind the rent payments because of the virus-induced recession, are now at imminent risk of getting booted to the curb. This Friday, some 25 million Americans will no longer receive their 600 federal unemployment checks, and the next round of government handouts currently discussed by Republicans and Democrats could see benefits slashed from 600 to 200, or be nothing at all if no deal is reached in Congress. This would crush household finances across middle-class America, resulting in an even higher number of households unable to pay their rent bill in months ahead. That said, Trump top economic advisor Larry Kudlow, who has religiously pumped stocks with meaningless headlines anytime the S&P is even barely in the red, recently said an extension for the eviction moratorium program could be seen. What if there isn't one? In late July, more than 31 million Americans collected unemployment benefits of some form. The economic recovery reversed in late June as the next crisis among households looms. It's nothing like we've seen before, said John Pollard, coordinator of the National Coalition for Civil Rights to Council. In 2016, there were 2.3 million evictions. Pollard said there could be that many evictions just in August. So 2.3 million just in 2016. And for the whole year, and there could be 2.3 million just evictions in just 1 month, of the month of August. And it's fascinating to see just the state of how things have deteriorated. On Sunday, food bank lines reemerged as people's benefits ran out. The number of jobless Americans is staggering and downright depressionary, suggesting no labor market recovery this year or next. With a fiscal cliff unfolding, benefits tend to run out, and a rebound in the economy reversing, household pulse data from mid-July outlines an even gloomier rent crisis unfolding. The analysis is based on household pulse data from mid-July, and it found that some states will be hit harder than others. For example, West Virginia is estimated to have a higher share of renter households facing eviction at close to 60%. Tennessee, Minnesota, Mississippi, Florida, and Louisiana are all among the states said to be most impacted, with shares at 50% or higher. Elsewhere, Vermont is a state where renters will be at the lowest risk of eviction, though 22% of them will potentially lose their homes over the course of the crisis. This information comes from Forbes. Click on the link there. I got an interesting little chart here. Over 40% of the U.S. renters now at risk of eviction, and this shows you 29% in these particular states. I'm just highlighting them here. I'm putting the ones that's 50 to 59 are in Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, West Virginia, Minnesota, which you just outlined, 40 to 49%. You can see Michigan here, Illinois, New Jersey, Connecticut. Again, this has severe impacts, and it takes a lag time for that to come back. And we're just living in different times where they're just bailing out everything. Eventually, even if you continue giving checks, eventually it comes to a point where you'll have your insolvency and maybe in a hypercurrency crash. But we're still far from that basis because the rest of the world needs dollars, and right now the United States has the exorbitant privilege of being able to print the money. With that being said, let's continue reading on. The Trump administration doesn't have the tools to solve the crisis. Fiscal and monetary policy can only delay round 2 of the economic crash until after the elections. Meanwhile, chaos and disagreement on Capitol Hill means that there's still no deal on rent moratorium extension, which means that coming weeks will see the largest ever U.S. rent crisis, one which would make 2008 look like child's play. Wow. article's worth paying attention. I would suggest even click on some of the links they have here. Let me even listen to this. I wonder what this has to say here.
There was a federal ban on evictions. It is now expired and the August rent is due in just a few days. Tonight, we're learning more about what lawmakers are doing to keep people in their homes, and more importantly, what you should know if your landlord is trying to get you out. Here's Fox 5's Lindsay Watts.
The first thing you should know is that D.C., Maryland, and Virginia have different rules. In D.C., evictions are still banned. In Virginia, the ban on evictions has expired, but just tonight we found out Governor Ralph Northam is calling on the state Supreme Court to bring it back. Here in Maryland, Governor Larry Hogan's executive order says you can't be evicted if you're facing financial hardship due to coronavirus, but people are still getting notices to vacate. A Prince George's County woman got this yesterday.
And I have 30 days to get out of my apartment if I don't pay my balance.
We spoke to a Maryland state senator who says he is also hearing from people whose landlords are taking action.
But people whose lease has ended can be evicted under any circumstances beginning on the 25th. So if you got coronavirus and your lease ended, you are not protected under the current executive order and could be evicted starting now.
Senator Jeff Waldstreicher of Montgomery County is part of a group of senators who issued a report this week on what they feel is needed to protect people. They want an end to late fees and penalties for renters, an expansion of mediation services for tenants and landlords, and Waldstreicher says millions more in state and federal money is needed in rental assistance. Right now, the governor has allocated $30 million for eviction prevention programs. He says in the meantime, there should be no evictions or foreclosures until lawmakers are back in session.
Right, we're asking Governor Hogan to continue the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures in Maryland until January 31st of 2021. That allow us to reconvene as legislators and come up with a comprehensive solution that protects renters, that protects homeowners, and that protects landlords, so we can figure this all out together.
And if you are starting to get notices from your landlord, there is help available. We have more information for you on our website, fox5dc.com.
Well, they'll try their best. Again, they'll continue to print the money and give it out as far as they can go, but until nobody accepts or the money becomes worthless anymore. I'm not advocating any aspect of kicking people out, because I've had tenants before. I know that process. I've been in, everyone could go through a tough situation. But the point is that if you continually pushing the can down the road to make the situation even worse, that's always been the issue with me. Always thinking forward in terms of how will this be paid and what's the long-term effects of these things happening now, not just a short-term fix. If this video has been any value to you, please subscribe, leave some comments, be safe out there, hit the like button. Until my next video, I'm out.